Yeah, the title track. I mean, for a long time it was just called Intro. It's and actually the Johnny, the co-producer and engineer for this album, he kind of just named it Humble as the Sun. He named that track Humble as the Sun. The album was always called Humble as the Sun. But yeah, again, I think, you know, it's a great intro into the album. It's a different sound. You put it on and you think, oh, is this a Bob Vylan record? And you know, it really sets the pace for the album and talks about, like, you know, this theme of self-belief that is present throughout the album, you know. So yeah, I think it was the perfect opener.
Watch me rain.
It's a track of two halves. As there's a few tracks that are kind of similar in that sense, that they have two halves to them. The first half is, as you say, like, it's got that kind of like the drum break that I suppose gives a Prodigy sort of vibe to it, and it makes it a little kind of like a dancey one. You can move to it, you know. It's got a little upbeat to it, and then it kind of goes into a drill sound, and the production is kind of completely changed. And the first half of it, you know, is jovial in a sense, I suppose. It's like fun, and it's talking about you know, things like getting robbed for the Mercury Award and kind of the shady nature of this business, but it does it in kind of like a tongue-in-cheek kind of way. And then the second half addresses similar things, but not so tongue-in-cheek, and it's a little bit more pointed and directed, you know. And so we had to change the production on that second half in order to make sure that those words were hitting home. I'm interested to see how people perceive this song, actually, and like how they take the message of that chorus. And so I don't really want to say what I was thinking when I wrote it, but so because I'm excited to see what people think that I'm saying, but yeah, it's again, it's kind of like this track is kind of in three parts almost, and I think that's one of the fun things about this album, is that like you can listen to one song but you kind of get more than one song in the song, and the production changes in order to give a different feel to the different parts of the lyrics, you know, and the different verses. And so this track is kind of in three parts, and it has some of my favorite lines in this track, but that chorus of "It's cold out here and the game's being played ain't fun. Landlord just raised your rent, better get yourself a gun." I love that. I love that chorus.
I can't remember if it was that track or another track. You had this great line of they weren't talking about my looks when they said that I was strapping or something.
Yeah. That's on this. That's yeah. So neighbours on my block witnessing me get it cracking wasn't talking about my looks when they said that I was strapping. Yeah, like again, like there's lots of just little bits and pieces throughout in this song, you know. It's like yeah, I had a top 20 album in the charts, but I stay still and loo roll out the bathroom of the coffee shop, you know, because it's just like it's that, and it's you know, it's real shit. So, you know, sometimes, you know, this music doesn't pay as much as you might think it does, and sometimes, you know, you just realize, like, you know, this corporation ain't gonna miss this loo roll, like, and I need some home, you know, so I'm taking this. Yeah. Song written for my younger self, but also written for my daughter and my nieces and my nephews, you know, and so I enlisted them on their help, you know, on the chorus, which was a fun day of recording, and I captured it all on film as well. Like it was so much fun to just set the mic up in the front room and just like try and gather them all around and try and keep them focused, you know, because they're kids of this generation, so they're like iPad and shorts and they're just scrolling and swiping, and you know they got an attention span of like 5 seconds, and so it was like, it really was like herding I don't know, like the most unruly of goats. It was just like a kid just wandering off and going, and then this one was like, don't stand next to me, your breath smells. And then this one was like, and so I'm like, all right, all of you need to go brush your teeth, you're gonna stand this close to each other and around again, come back. And so it was just crazy, but it was so much fun, and it was like an experience that I'm so glad that I got to have with them, and I'm so glad that, you know, their voices are on this album, and it's immortalized. It's going to be, you know, it's going to live on CD and it's going to live on vinyl forever. And so I think that's a beautiful thing for not just myself to have, but for them as well. You know, they can listen to this in years to come when they grow up, and they can hear their voice on this.
All right. What will you win yourself tonight? Spin the wheel.
Are you going to owe Matthew McConaughey some royalties here?
I hope not. But I mean, there might not be that much to give him, but I'm sure he doesn't need much. I'm sure he doesn't need what I've got. He'll be all right. Again, this one is another one of you know, another track in two halves where it discusses the current economic and political climate of the country in a very honest and brutal way, but then it also talks about the power that we have as individuals and as a collective to choose how we operate and think within that economic and political crisis that we're living in. So you know, just that feeling of you know, you're more than your take-home pay, you know, making barely enough to make it through the day. I know. You know, you are going through hell, but keep going. Like all of these kind of like affirmations, I suppose, you know, that I need to hear. I need to hear these. And so, like all of the songs on this album, like all of the songs that we make, the music is made first and foremost for us. And you know, I need to hear these words. And so I know that I'm not unique in that. If I need to hear them, then other people need to hear them. And everybody that I played this track for, you know, before it was released and very early on, like when they got to that part, they were like, yo, like I need to hear that. Like I needed to hear that. And so I knew that like it was an important song, and that's why we released it as a single as well, you know. And we, you know, there was kind of this talk about maybe if we put it to radio, should we cut that second half off and because maybe it doesn't work on the radio or whatever, but we decided to keep it on. And I think it's a nice thing to be able to share with people, you know, that kind of those affirmations that I find myself kind of repeating to myself, let them out into other people can have them as well.
Yeah, man, it really hit home to me. I've been dealing with mental health issues. You know, I've been on medication for the last year, and it really just hit me. I've been listening to this while doing cardio every morning, and so listening to this, you are going through hell, but keep going. All right.
yeah. That's it. I do the same thing. I listen to like there's songs on this out I listen to when I'm in the gym, and I often find myself going to the gym when I'm like, I go to the gym like regularly, but like, you know, throughout the day I have moments where I'm like, I'm stressed, I need to go to the gym, like that, you know. I'm like, and I'll put this album on and I'll listen to it, and it will kind of, it makes me feel hopeful, and it makes me feel empowered, makes me feel a little centered, you know, and like grounded again. So originally Fatboy Slim used it.
Yeah.
Yes, he used it. But the sample is from an old film, and so yeah, it did have a different sample in it originally, but that sample sounded great, but it just wasn't working with the kind of the theme of the song, and so I switched it out for that right here, right now. And I think as well, like, you know, it's nice because that ending of Hunger Games has that here now is kind of repeated, you know, and it's kind of again like right here, right now, being in the moment, being present, being like, you know, it's not thinking about like dwelling on the past and not worrying about the future, but just being here and being now and being present, you know. And I think again, this is another track on the album that has some of my favorite lyrics on, you know, on this track that I just think I love it. I think there's some very clever wordplay happening on this track. I'm proud of.
On a Bob Dylan album, never. Hey, there's a cheeky sample in there that I'd love to know the origins of. It's someone sounds like a confrontation at a concert and then ends with him saying, "Are you fucking mad?" What's that from?
Yeah. So the line I suppose that precedes that is the biggest mistake that you'll make is see me on stage and assume that you're safe, like I won't jump off and kick you in the face.
Yeah.
Some people need to be reminded that that I'm a human, even if you see me on stage or whatever, and I didn't grow up in a way that allows for people to disrespect me.
Very low tolerance for suffering fools.
Oh yeah. I don't suffer fools, and yeah, you know, some people have to learn ways that I don't necessarily want to teach them, but you know, I'm
so
a
that's
great
you
teacher.
in the sample.
It might be.
Right. Okay. Your Honor.
Allegedly.
To tell the truth, I can't stand this.
Well, I wouldn't want to make you violent, would I?
Nice segue. I appreciate it. Yeah, this song, again, it's like, you know, kind of details my personal experience with the country that I reside, and how this country, I suppose, views me. But it also, you know, it also has, towards the end, it has that hope, you know, of like, they'd rather see me gone, you know, they'd rather see me move from here, but I'm going to stay and give them hell. And so I think that kind of like ending on that kind of powerful statement of like, I'll decide when I leave. I'll decide when I'm out of here. You know, like I won't be forced out, I won't be pushed out. I'm gonna stay, give them hell, and then once I feel like I've given them enough hell, then I'll make my exit.
Next is He's a Man, and I think everyone has met this prick. The line about the G-spot as feminist propaganda fucking killed me. Is it a fairly self-explanatory inspiration?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I grew up with people like this, right? And they had an impact on me. And you know, and sometimes they had an impact on me for the worse. And that's, you know, those are things that, like, as men, we all have to kind of like navigate the kind of mad waters of being a man, right? And like what this society expects from us as men. And what is it to be a man? Like there's just so many questions about that. It's like from a young boy, and so growing up, I would see these men, and I've never liked football, for example. This is kind of like elementary, but it's like I've never liked football. But as a young boy, if you don't like football, there was something wrong with you, and so. I was lucky that like I've always been kind of like thick-skinned, and so it's never really bothered me. But that feeling of like, oh, I'm not a man in that sense. I'm not with the guys like that because they're all watching football. I don't watch it, so I'm not going to sit there and suffer for 90 minutes. I'll go and do something else. So. I know these men, and they had an impact on me, and there's certain things that like I took from them that I had to unlearn, and like you say, we all know them. We all know one of them. Do you know what I mean? And like this is kind of like a hyper exaggeration of like all the terrible qualities of man, all wrapped up into one. Which some of these men do exist, but I think as men, we all embody some form of these characteristics at some point in our life. Do you know what I mean? Like none of us are exempt from that. But yeah, that line about the G-spot, when I played this song for Amy from Hammer and the Sniffers, I wanted to see if it lands, if that line would land properly, and I played it, and she just burst out into laughter, and I was like, okay, cool, like cool, I've got it. Like, and she's got a great sense of humor. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, cool. Like, this is gonna work. This is gonna work.
Oh gosh, in the street, big bird, if they arrested me, had to boot the door in.
Yeah, Ring the Alarm. I love jungle music. I love reggae music. Reggae music, is heavily sampled in jungle music. And for me, I just wanted to, like, I always want to kind of have that feel on the record, because I just I love the breaks, which you can hear again, sort of like in Rain, and even in Makes Me Violent. There's like kind of little parts of it, and in the title track, Humble as the Sun, like there's little parts where like it kind of goes into like a little jungle kind of break, and this is that kind of jungle song, and using some dope samples from Tampa and stuff like that to kind of get that point home.
Still here trying to stack a couple pence.
And I'm Still Here is, the final track of the album. Again, speaking about the power of self. Like, I'm still here throughout everything that I've gone through, throughout all the hardships, throughout all of the economical crises that are happening, the cost of living crisis, throughout all of the political madness that is happening in this country. I'm still here. From we live here to I'm still here. From we live here, 7 years old, 6 years old, and experiencing that, to now I'm still here, and I feel a sense of empowerment and certainty in my existence here on this earth.
They'll never take me alive. I'm still here. They'll never take me